Have you ever known someone that seemed totally genuine? Your conversations were engaging and you agreed on so much. But then it happened. While claiming to have your back, they violated your trust. You learned that much of your relationship was a lie. Making matters worse, maybe you even blamed yourself, wondering what you did wrong. If this sounds familiar, then you and I have something in common. We've both been manipulated. And I bet those who don't think they've been manipulated probably don't realize it yet. In fact, as we speak, it's likely that someone somewhere is planning to manipulate you. It happens to everyone. It's more common than we think. And that shows how little we know about how to prepare ourselves for it. As a professor who studied manipulation for more than 2 decades, I think we need to fix that. It's unacceptable to me that the science of manipulation has done little to help those being manipulated. We've failed you as a science. So I want to talk about how to recognize different types of manipulative people and what to do when you find yourself face to face with them. We can learn to turn the tables on these manipulative types by using their strategic thinking against them. With romance schemes, catfishing, investment fraud, and workplace manipulation all around us, the study of manipulation has never been more important. But the study of manipulative people has a fragmented history. Forensic researchers studied psychopathy. Clinical researchers studied narcissism. Behavioral researchers studied Machiavellianism. You've probably heard the term psychopath or sociopath. You've almost certainly heard the term narcissist, maybe even used it to describe an ex. But many don't know what we mean by Machiavellianism, the masters of manipulation. Machiavellianism represents a cautious and rational way of gaining power. They manipulate, but strategically, which makes them exceptionally dangerous. Individuals high in Machiavellianism seek power any way they can get it, and they're in it for the long run. When referring to psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism together, researchers call them the Dark Triad. In 2002, my mentor Del Paulhus and his student Kevin Williams wrote the original Dark Triad paper. By 2022, it had been cited over 6,000 times, and it changed the conversation on manipulation. But after 20 years of growth, I was sad because knowing the harm these traits cause, virtually no research has been done on how to protect us from them. Many people consider psychopathy to be the most dangerous of the Dark Triad traits. I disagree. Maybe in a dark alley or one-on-one moment, sure, but psychopaths lack the strategic planning necessary to maintain power. Narcissists will charm you. Psychopaths will mug you, but a Machiavellian will invade you. And they've been planning their attack longer than you realize. I've spent most of my career studying Machiavellianism, and it's important to understand these people will not change. There are no effective interventions to get them to care about others. Machiavellianism is a sneaky trait. Yes, they're sneaky in how they deal with people, but also in how they predict harm. Many harmful outcomes linked to Machiavellianism are more strongly predicted by psychopathy. Some even question whether we need to study Machiavellianism at all. But my colleagues and I found that what sets Machiavellians apart is not what they do, but when they act. Psychopaths are impulsive. Narcissists are driven by ego. But Machiavellians weigh the pros and cons and take the path that benefits them most. So, is there an upside to this trait? Can we use its strategic nature for good? As it turns out, Yes, we studied how individuals high in Machiavellianism deal with manipulative leaders or co-workers. Under destructive leadership, Machiavellians had better mental health and were promoted more often than others. So, I've begun asking whether we can harness the non-toxic elements of Machiavellianism to help good-hearted people face manipulation. This idea isn't new. Books like The Art of War and The 48 Laws of Power advocate similar tactics. But the key is using these tools without becoming manipulative ourselves. For example, Machiavellians are emotionally guarded and treat people based on utility. They think rationally about payouts and focus on the bottom line. So, can we use this mindset to deal with toxic people? Let's say you have a manipulative boss. You can't leave. You can't avoid them. I train people to think this is a chess match. They're useful financially, but harmful emotionally. Focus on external gains. Plan your next move. Be responsive, not reactive. If you're reactive, you're playing into their game. And just like CPR is how we help a person breathe physically in toxic relationships, we breathe using CBR. Cold, bottom line, rational. Cold, stay emotionally guarded. Their biggest weapon is your emotions. Guilt, charm, flattery. Don't give them access. Treat them like a paycheck, not a pal. My friend once imagined money pouring into his bank account every moment he spent with an abusive supervisor. Another imagined her boss as a walking checkbook. Bottom line, know your goal. Are you supporting your family? Then make every response about that. Don't fight emotional battles. Win the financial war. Rational. Focus on outcomes, not appearances. No manipulative person has ever admitted, "You're right, I'm a horrible person." Keep realistic goals. Don't try to win on principle. They have no principles. Now, a word of caution. This tactic has no place in healthy relationships. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and empathy. But not everyone plays by those rules. You will encounter manipulative people in your life. These tactics are only for dealing with them, and only as a last resort. If a leader or co-worker is manipulative, report them and leave if you can. But if you're stuck, training yourself to think like a Machiavellian and breathing using the CBR method might help you get through it until you can get away. By better understanding the Machiavellian character and the Dark Triad overall, we become more prepared. Maybe we can even flip the script, manipulate the manipulator, by staying cold, focused on the bottom line, and rational. Although I can't promise you'll handle every situation perfectly, you're now more prepared to recognize manipulation when it occurs. And it's my hope that in the next 20 years of research, we don't just study these traits. We learn to deal with them. That way, when you find yourself face to face with a manipulator, you'll know how to breathe